Hi guys, so welcome to my first book review. I'm very excited to be doing this, even though I suck at book reviews, so I don't know, you may hate this. It's going to be a short and sweet one because the first book that I read this month was James and the Giant Peach by Roald Dahl. I am sure you all are probably sick of hearing me talk about this book this month, but it's just a great book, and I went ahead and read it. It was the shortest one that I was going to read this month, so I knocked it out in like a day. I mean, it's like 126 pages short. But yeah, I'm sorry. I know I've mentioned it a ton, but it is just a really, really great book, and I wanted to share it with you. And like I said, if you all have any kids or anything, or if you just want to pick it up, it's a cute story. And the illustrations, if you can see this, if it'll pick up on my... Yeah, you should be able to see that. It's like the cutest pictures in this book. Let me see if I can find another really cute one. Here's the 2 pages worth of cuteness. So anyway, I'm just gonna give you, obviously I love it. That's my review. So I'm just going to give you like a little overview of what the book is about. Obviously, it's about a boy named James. I think in the beginning of the book, he starts out as like 7. He starts out as 4. And this thing happens to his parents, and he has to go live with his 2 aunts. And I forgot their names. Spiker is one, and I cannot remember the other aunt's name. What is her name? Anyway, he has to go live with his aunts, and they're just absolutely horribly awful mean to him. He says that they beat him and all kinds of awful stuff. They kick him out, made him stay outside all night one night. So after years of living up on this hill with these 2 mean old aunts, he meets this little dude. I don't know what he is. His picture is in here. I think it might explain what kind of creature he is. I don't know. Here he is. He's really cute. He kind of looks like Mr. Miyagi. So he meets this little guy, and he gives him these magic crystals, and he tells him what to do with them, and James ends up spilling them, and it gets all over this peach tree, and that's what makes the peach grow to huge proportions. It gets the size of a house, and then he climbs up, and one day the aunts tell him to go outside and do something. They're trying to get rich off the giant peach that James grew, and anyway, one day he climbs in a hole that he finds in the peach, and there are all these animals in there. Well, they're not animals, they're insects, but they're huge because these little crystals got to these insects, and they grew to like huge sizes, the size of a dog. I think the cricket is the size of a dog or something, the grasshopper. And they just go on this big adventure because the peach actually breaks loose from the tree, and they end up in the ocean, and sharks attack them, and then they have to get seagulls to rescue them, and it talks about how they do that. And it's just a really cute story. They end up in America. I think it's set in England. I'm not really sure. I think it's set in England, and then they end up in America, and it wraps up really nicely in the end and tells you what happens to James and how he goes on, because you really hope that he doesn't end up with his... Really? This is the second video that they've sabotaged. I don't know why they bark when I try to film. I really apologize. It's probably killing your all's ears right now. I don't know. They're bad. They only bark when I film. So anyway, you kind of want it to end nicely because James is such a sweet kid, and he's bright, and you just don't want him to end up with his aunt, so it kind of explains what happens to him in the end of the book. So it's just an overall great book. It's a good story for kids. It's a little rough for what we would think of as a children's story. I mean, he does talk about being beaten and things like that, but, you know, when I read Looking for Alaska, that's supposed to be a YA, and there's some pretty explicit stuff in there, so I don't know, maybe because they're different, but I don't know, maybe I'm just going to raise, like, little sissy kids that can't handle it, because when I read this, I thought, ooh, there's some stuff in here I'm not so sure, and nothing bad. It's just, I'm not sure if I would want my kid to read it, but I was also one of those people that didn't think your kids should see Twilight, the last movie, because it's all about Bella trying to get laid. Let's be honest. So anyway, totally went off on a rant. You all should read this. It's a cute story. It's a classic. Roald Dahl is one of my authors for this week. For this month, and this is my book for the week. Next thing I'm going to read is D.H. Lawrence's Lady Chatterley's Lover. I've actually started to read that. I'm halfway through it. So far it's really, really good. I can't wait to give you my review on that. Another thing I wanted to mention about this book, I got sidetracked by the dogs, is Roald Dahl. If you look him up and read anything about him, he was actually, I think he did have to go, his parents died or something, and he did have to go live with aunts or something like that. I can't really remember, because I remember reading it and didn't think I would need to remember it until I reread James and the Giant Peach, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is totally about his childhood. This is probably some little story he made up in his mind when he was a kid, and then when he got older, he put it on paper. I don't know if that's how it went down, but I mean, I think you see a lot of the author in James in this book. So anyway, check it out. Like I said, my next book is D.H. Lawrence's Lady Chatterley's Lover. Super steamy stuff in there. So I am looking forward to reading that and letting you all know how I liked it. So that will be my next book next week sometime. So until then, stay safe and get your read on, all that good stuff, and I will see you guys later. Bye.